Hello, you're tuning into Nightline. I'm Raymond Goh. News making the headlines this morning. Government in the midst of amending labour laws, says Tun Dr. Mahathir. And MACC to charge Datuk Sri Bong Mokhtar and wife with graft. Good morning. The government is in the process of amending several labour laws to ensure that all workers are aware of their rights, in line with the increased target of 1 million workers' membership in trade unions by 2020. Tun Dr. Mahathir said the move is also to provide the best mechanism in solving employer-worker disputes in a harmonious way. Speaking at the 2019 Workers' Day celebration in Putrajaya Wednesday, the Prime Minister said the laws involved include the Trade Unions Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the Industrial Relations Act and the Employment Act.
Secara umum, undang-undang perburuhan yang di dalam proses pindaan meliputi standard minimum pekerjaan, kesatuan sekerja, perhubungan perusahaan, keselamatan dan kesihatan pekerjaan yang bertujuan untuk menambah baik kebajikan dan perlindungan sosial pekerja tanpa menafikan peranan dan sumbangan para majikan dalam pembangunan negara.
Previously, the Human Resources Ministry had amended the Private Employment Agencies Act in 2017 and the Children and Young Persons Employment Act last year. Earlier in his speech, Tun Dr. Mahathir also reminded Malaysians, especially workers, to perform their duties and responsibilities with principle of trust and integrity. He said this would in turn spur the prosperity of the country, which has diverse cultures, races and religions. The Prime Minister also said a good tripartite relationship between the government, workers and employers is the key driver to the country's economic growth. The Workers' Day celebration was attended by some 5,000 public and private sector employees. Also present were Human Resource Minister M. Kulasegaran, Cabinet Ministers, Secretaries General of Ministries, representatives of the Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public and Civil Service, QPEX, the Malaysian Trades Union Congress, MTUC, and Malaysian Employers Federation. Meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir also stressed that it is the government's policy to give priority to employment of Malaysians.
Tetapi perlu juga saya nyatakan bahawa kehadiran pekerja asing di dalam negara kita berpunca dari sikap kita yang tidak mahu membuat kerja tertentu walaupun kita sebenarnya mampu melakukannya sendiri. Maka peluang itu direbut oleh pekerja asing. Akhirnya mereka akan menjadi kaya dan kita pula kekal atau menjadi miskin.
In light of this, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government has taken a number of measures to ensure that foreign workers are only employed if really needed by sectors that find it difficult to get local workers, especially for jobs categorized as 3D or dirty, dangerous and difficult. Tun Dr. Mahathir said although wages were very low in the 3D sector, citizens should grab job opportunities instead of staying unemployed. He added the government was also aware about the unemployment rate among youths and understood the need to empower the workforce and harness local talent. He noted that the effort should also involve people from all walks of life, including increasing the participation of women in the workforce. At the same event, the Prime Minister also confirmed that Acting Deputy Inspector General of Police, Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid Bado, will be the new Inspector General of Police, IGP. Tun Dr. Mahathir said the Yang di-Pertuan Agong has given his consent for the appointment of Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid as the 12th IGP.
Ya, saya fikir dia lah jadi IGP.
So surat pelantikan sudah dihantar kepada dia?
Saya fikir Agong dah sign.
Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid will succeed Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun, who will be going on mandatory retirement on May 3rd. Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid, who was formerly deputy head of the special branch, went on early retirement in 2015 after he spoke up against the previous government's alleged involvement in certain scandals. In May last year, he was recalled and appointed special branch director. Last month, he took over as acting deputy IGP when Tan Sri Noor Rashid Ibrahim retired. At another event on Wednesday, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the controversy surrounding the Rome Statute in Malaysia was due to misconceptions and lack of knowledge in the subject matter among the public. This, he added, has paved the way for certain quarters with ill intention to turn the situation to their advantage by spreading rumours and baseless accusations about the international treaty. Speaking to reporters after opening the Al-Shaq Youth Annual Conference 2019, Tun Dr. Mahathir stressed that the public need not worry about the police probe over a Rome Statute forum held at University Malaya on Saturday, as it was just a normal procedure. He also said the individuals involved who are being investigated under the Sedition Act will not be prosecuted if they did not commit anything against the law.
They've been under misunderstanding. They don't know anything about the Rome, the Statute of Rome, but they go and frighten people. There's nothing. You know, even the Emperor of Japan, who led Japan during the war, he was not charged in any way.
Last Monday, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said the police would quiz several individuals involved with the forum, which also featured Attorney General Tommy Thomas to record their statements. This followed several complaints over the forum lodged with the police. Meanwhile, in his opening address, Tun Dr. Mahathir once again described Israel as a terrorist nation and the root cause of instability in the world. He also said the time had come for the international community to stand together and end Israel's occupation of Palestine.
Apartheid, genocide, crimes against humanity, crimes of aggression, and all the evil that mankind can inflict on others are compiled in Palestine, courtesy of the barbaric, arrogant, terrorist nation called Israel. Until and unless the international community is committed to find a solution to bring an end to the occupation of the land belonging to the Palestinians, the region and the rest of the world will not have much of a chance for stability and order.
The Prime Minister's brave statement also led to overwhelming applause from the audience of over 1,000 people, many of whom are from the Middle East. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, on Wednesday confirmed the arrest of Barisan Nasional lawmaker Datuk Sri Bong Mokhtar Radin and his wife Datin Sri Zizi Izzeti A. Samad for alleged graft. In a short statement, the MACC said it has obtained the go-ahead from the Attorney General's office to charge Datuk Sri Bong Mokhtar in his capacity as the former non-executive director of a government agency, Felkar Berhad, as well as his wife this Friday. It said the MACC arrested Datuk Sri Bong Mokhtar at 10:50 a.m. on Wednesday at the Sabah MACC, while his wife, an actress, was arrested by the MACC in Putrajaya at 11:15 a.m. after they appeared to complete the final investigation process. Both were released a few hours later on MACC bail. It said the couple would be charged under Section 17A and Section 28, Subsection 1C of the MACC Act 2009. The Housing and Local Government Ministry plans to review the salary packages of firemen in line with their broad job scope, which is practically anything under the sun. Its Minister Zuraida Kamarudin, who said this, also expressed hope that the government would be more sympathetic to the nature of the fireman's job. Zuraida said a decision on the matter, which is still under review, will be made through a special committee meeting chaired by the Prime Minister.
So I hope that I can do that so that it give them a bit more, and given the fact that bomber punya job is like no scope, is anything under the sun they do it, you see. So I hope that the government is more sympathetic of the nature of the job and have to look into that. And then their critical allowance, one of the things that a bit I have not achieved is to get their critical allowance, which is supposed to be done.
Last July, Zuraida presented a working paper to the Cabinet requesting for a monthly critical allowance of 200 ringgit for firefighters. On another note, Zuraida added that the ministry also plans to set up a firefighters recruitment commission which would have the freedom in the recruitment as well as transfer of firefighters. At present, the Fire and Rescue Department is parked under the Public Services Department, JPA, with a pool of 1.6 million civil servants, including firemen. Renowned Islamic scholar Datuk Sri Abu Hassan Din Al-Hafiz was laid to rest at the Raudatul Sakinah Islamic Cemetery in Taman Selasih, Kuala Lumpur at 6:10 p.m. on Wednesday. Hundreds of family members, friends and followers from across the country gathered at the funeral to pay their final respects. The atmosphere was palpably somber as the Talqin funeral rites were recited by Datuk Sri Abu Hassan's second son-in-law, Hamdan Abdul Aziz. Earlier, the cleric's son, Muhammad Yusri, led the Solat Janazah at Masjid Saidina Hamzah in Kampung Batu Muda immediately following the Asar prayer. Datuk Sri Abu Hassan Din died early on Wednesday at the age of 73. According to Yusri, his father fell unconscious while preparing to perform the Subuh prayer and was rushed to the Kuala Lumpur hospital where he was pronounced dead at 7:30 a.m. He leaves behind a widow, 7 children and 13 grandchildren. He was the younger brother of former past spiritual leader Dr. Harun Din, who died in the United States in September 2016. Datuk Sri Abu Hassan was born in Perlis and received his early education at the English School of Derma, Arau, before attending the Alawiyah Arab School of Religion. He then furthered his studies in Egypt. He was the former Grand Imam of the National Mosque and had been the religious advisor to several Yang di-Pertuan Agong, including the late Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah Al-Hajj, Tuanku Said Sirajuddin and Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin. Contractor attacked with knife for attempting to cut men's water supply. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The U.S. Embassy in Kuala Lumpur has debunked a fake news article that claims its government has listed Malaysia in its Visa Waiver Program VWP. A U.S. Embassy spokesperson told TV3 that the State Department has made no recent announcement on the visa waiver program. The spokesperson said the website concerned has all the markers of a fake news site and the article is not true. The website News AP, which seemed to be trying to associate itself with international news agency the Associated Press, claimed that the U.S. Department had added 10 countries, including Malaysia, into its VWP. The site also quoted U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo as allegedly having said that the addition of the 10 countries was part of a series of transformations the program was going through. The U.S. Embassy spokesman told TV3 that if the U.S. government was to make such a major announcement, the information would be posted on its official website and social media platforms. The spokesman also urged Malaysians to be conscious of where they obtained their sources of information. A Syarikat Air Negeri Sembilan contractor was attacked with a knife by a service user for attempting to cut off the man's water supply. The incident was caught on camera and the video went viral after it was uploaded on social media. A police report was lodged by the contractor immediately after the harrowing experience. The company's public relations division head, Norozita Ismail, in a statement on Wednesday, said the issue of the water supply cut was an authentic case where the user had arrears of more than 2,000 ringgit. The user was also aware of his outstanding bills and had been given an opportunity to pay the arrears in installments. Records of the billing account statements showed that the user did not make his monthly payment consistently, and this caused the bill to be overdue. In Selangor, 2 factories in Klang were issued stop work notices by the Klang Municipal Council (MPK) after they were found operating without licenses during raids in Taman Perindustrian Sobena Jaya. The raid was conducted as several factory owners were still operating their factories without licenses despite warnings issued by the MPK. MPK Licensing Department Deputy Director Muhammad Farulisa Mat Isa said that the factories found operating without licenses have 7 days to apply for them. Failure to do so will result in the factories being seized. In Kuala Lumpur, 190 foreign women were detained in an operation by the Kuala Lumpur Immigration Department in a raid involving 2 entertainment outlets in the city. The women working as GROs were of Thailand, Vietnam and Laos nationalities and have been detained for various immigration offences, including misuse of social visit passes. They are being investigated under the Immigration Act 1963. 3 local men and 3 Bangladesh nationals who work at the premises were also detained. Still in Kuala Lumpur, 1,317 counterfeit watches were seized in a raid by the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPDN HEP, involving a business premises in Jalan Raja Laut. Kuala Lumpur KPDN HEP Director Umi Nasra Othman said the operation involved 8 officers and representatives from the respective brand watches. A man in his 40s was detained who already had been arrested twice prior to this for selling counterfeit watches along with a woman who is his worker. The case is being investigated under Section 8, Subsection 2 of the Trade Descriptions Act 2011 and punishable with a fine of up to 15,000 ringgit for each item, while the suspect, who is the premises owner and his worker, have been detained for 3 days to assist in investigations. Japan welcomes new Emperor Naruhito as Reiwa era begins. The details up next. On to the foreign front now. Emperor Naruhito succeeded to the chrysanthemum throne on Wednesday and pledged to stand with his people, following the example set by his father, who abdicated the previous day, being the first Japanese monarch to do so in 202 years. The 59-year-old will lead the country towards the new Reiwa era as the 126th Emperor of Japan, the world's oldest monarchy. During the ceremony, Naruhito received the royal regalia, which includes a legendary sword and jewels which belonged to his father. The modest ritual only permitted the attendance of adult male relatives and government officials. Naruhito, the first emperor born after World War II and the first to be raised solely by his parents, expressed gratitude for his parents' work over the past 3 decades and said he felt solemn at the thought of the burden he's taking on. A more extravagant enthronement is set for October 22nd, which will involve visits from state and government heads from around the world, banquets and a parade through Tokyo. Now, in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro on Wednesday claimed that he had triumphed over a coup attempt by the opposition leader Juan Guaido. Guaido, however, insists that Maduro has lost control of the armed forces and called for more street protests on Wednesday. In a defiant TV address late Tuesday night, Maduro said Guaido had failed to turn the military against him. Tuesday marked the most violent episode of the Venezuelan political crisis this year, as health officials said over 109 people were injured in the clashes. The chaos was triggered after a 3-minute video by Guyado was published earlier that day, urging citizens to gather and protest in the streets, where they were later seen throwing rocks before being repelled by tear gas and water cannons. At one point, a military vehicle was seen to have driven into a crowd of protesters. Despite this, Guyado still urged supporters to return to continue what he called the final stage of Operation Freedom, claiming that Venezuelans now had the opportunity to conquer their future. And we've reached the conclusion of Nightline this time around. Before we leave, though, take a quick look at this video of the newly released movie trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog live-action movie. The movie coming to cinemas this November revolves around the infamous blue running hedgehog that some of you may know from the globally renowned video game franchise by Sega. With that, I'm Raymond Goh. Thanks for your company. Have a good week ahead.
SFPD! Meow? Oh, come on. Okay, pal, I want answers. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet. Oh, is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.